Money FM 89.3, the best of the afternoon update.
Money FM 89.3. Last week on Industry Insight, we explored the exciting trends at the intersection of artificial intelligence and cryptocurrency, discussing the incredible potential for innovation and transformation. But with every breakthrough comes new challenges. In this second part of a two-part interview, we shift our focus to the risks emerging from the convergence of these two technologies. From security concerns to regulatory hurdles, what are the potential pitfalls, and how can businesses and individuals navigate them? My guest, Kay Van Peterson, co-founder and partner of advisory firm Final Upgrade AI, tells us more. Welcome, Kay.
Hey, great to be here.
Really excited to have you with us. Kay, what other areas do you see AI making an impact within the crypto space?
Yeah, so fantastic. So, when I think about crypto, I think about the metaverse. And really, that's what X is, i.e., the platform formerly known as Twitter. I think most people think of metaverse as, this kind of virtual reality setting that you put on, but there's stages to it. And the interesting thing about this intersection of X and crypto and blockchain is it has the absolute worst of the worst on our planet in regards to sapiens, but it also has the absolute best, the most talented, the most brilliant, working on all kinds of things, right? But of course, that's a ton of data and that's a ton of information. So one really, really big thing that AI agents will have, and AI in general in crypto, is helping us filter the signal from the noise, right? Helping us filter fake, spam, attention kind of grabbing, dopamine kind of hitting kind of content to actually things that really kind of come back and actually help us achieve whatever we want to kind of achieve. Whether that's looking for information, whether that's work, whether that's planning a vacation, whether that's, trying to learn about healthcare and insurance, or just trying to kind of, skill and train yourself up. And I think this is how it starts. But eventually, it will move from digital to physical, right, in regards to automation and robotics. And I could see a world where you and I, in not too distant future, this is all going to happen in the lifetime of everyone hearing this. That's the amazing part. We'll all have our own personal AIs, just like how, are you an iOS? Are you an Android? Are you in the Pixel? Like, that's how it's going to be. Like, what's your AI kind of operating system that will help us with everything in regards to the usual decision making that a sapient has to do, whether you're an executive in a big $500 million kind of company, or a driver or a plumber. All walks of life will be able to kind of turn to this, and it's really going to change a lot of how we look and view society.
We've been talking a lot about efficiency, but what about security, particularly given concerns about fraud and market manipulation? What role do you think AI can play in increasing transparency and trust within crypto ecosystems?
Yeah, so I think it's a great question. We have to remember technology is, it's a little bit like guns and bullets, in the sense of, by itself, it's just there and it can be used for anything, right? It can be used for good, it can be used for bad. There's no doubt that there's serious risks in AI of, cybersecurity, fraud, scammers, terrorism. And that always just comes with new kind of cutting edge technology. And unfortunately, a lot of the bad actors tends to be at the forefront of good cutting technology. So for instance, I'm sure a lot of your listeners have heard stories of literally getting voicemails or calls from people who sound exactly like their family members or their banker, right? In regards to tone, accent, verbiage. And you literally feel that you're speaking to a real human and it's actually not. And then them getting sensitive information around that. Even video to at this point where you're going to be wondering, am I speaking to the real person on this call or am I not? So that's definitely one aspect. And I think we'll get to a world where you'll actually need this sapient to sapient authenticity, right? To make sure that you're actually dealing with someone kind of legit. For instance, just as how you will have bad actors who are at the forefront, unfortunately, of any kind of big, new, innovative technology, it's actually a good leading indicator for something that's new and fresh and likely there to stay. You will also have, the proverbial kind of, white hat, good players, as we also have today, right, in regards to kind of cybersecurity. So I can see a world where, we'll have this AI kind of, if you will, one of the elements of the personal AI across everything that you do will be this kind of guardian, defensive kind of measures i.e., you and I get an email, but the AI catches that that email has been sent from 10,000 servers. So it puts it immediately in the spam folder, if not immediately kind of deletes it. Like that's the level of where it needs to kind of go, right? They'll get to know us so well that they will be exceptionally better at pre-filtering information than we will, because we as sapiens with our human beautiful kind of minds, we get tired, right? The filtering kind of process we're good at, but only up until a certain kind of extent. And again, this is not an intelligence thing. This is just like, people are living their everyday life, right? So this is also an element that we will see in regards to the security side of AI agents and AI working for the good guys as well.
That's definitely a positive development, reassuring considering some of the risks associated with cryptocurrencies. Another concern I've heard is related to the environmental impact of cryptocurrency mining. Can AI help address this as well?
So this is a great question. You may have noticed that a few years back, in the last bull cycle, one of the biggest critiques of Bitcoin was the mining and how much energy it was taking, right?
That's right.
And of course, my alternative is like, well, okay, what's the energy and cost of broken fiat systems, right? And the displacement that has in society. But I digress. Long story short, the energy consumption that AI itself is going to need is completely multiples of what crypto needs, right? From a Bitcoin proof of work perspective. And there's many, many accounts and many people who actually think this year will run out of compute, will run out of energy, just simply because a lot of the energy we have across the world is built on old grids, right? It was not built on demand to exponentially scale in regards to needs, because that demand had this old context of it being based on population and humans and growth, right? So what will happen is we'll have a huge move up in energy in more kind of the traditional way. I think a very bullish aspect is that nuclear is coming back and modern next gen fusion is also on the cards, which is long really overdue, also in regards to sustainability. I do, though, think that eventually AI will be also part of the solution. So in summary, it's going to be a big problem for at least 100% this year and maybe the next few years because of the compute needs, i.e., and also the energy it will need. And that'll definitely be a drain on the resources of kind of the world. But I think we will get AI to such a point, and we're talking about AGI happening this year, if it's not already happened, where we will get a breakthrough in energy from AI that makes it, literally free or virtually free to the rest of the world. Now, what form that is and where it is, I don't know, but I think that's eventually what's going to happen.
Okay. Kay, in this segment, we usually talk about trends. So shifting gears a bit, there's been a lot of talk about decentralized finance or DeFi. How is AI influencing the growth of DeFi platforms and their applications? What are you seeing in terms of trends in this space?
Yeah, so I mean, I think you kind of have to think about AI as, kind of going back and looking at, the internet kind of taking off. And it was kind of like, hey, well, what's your internet strategy? And what's your internet strategy? It was seen as this other thing. And of course, nowadays, it's like you wouldn't even ask someone what your internet strategy is. It's just part and parcel of the architecture, the systems of your company, and even just how you operate. That's eventually where we're going to get to AI. So that also tells you how early we are. Now, in regards to DeFi, and this is DEFI, the whole purpose of decentralized finance was to bring what was available to, the few elite, to centralized kind of players, to the big whales, to the masses, right? That's the whole idea about DeFi. But like anything, and as we were talking about earlier, you still had these constraints of it's different chains, there's slippage, there's extra costs every time, let's say you have to go from Solana to Base and back, or from stable coins to whatever kind of token that you want. And that's actually what DeFi is, DEFAI, right? It's going to basically take out the friction, make it so easy that anyone's great grandmother or grandfather can use, right? Because it'll just be on your voice. You will just speak and say what you want, how you want it. It will check it with you, and they will execute. You won't have to jump into that wallet, bridge on this, send it through that wormhole, hold your breath to see if the money is even coming through, right? and kind of live in kind of paranoia. So these are the aspects that it's going to bring. So it's basically going to put a multiplier effect. And I think a lot of the companies who are kind of leading in that space, it's a great multiplier effect for all the parties in crypto as a whole, right?
Bringing us back to the focus of that intersection between AI and crypto, how might AI
Yes.
be used to analyze and respond to such meme-driven market phenomena?
So great question. So this is obviously not the first Trump token. There's been probably dozens, maybe even hundreds, but this is the first official Trump token backed by him. He tweeted it. So something like that AI could have helped you at. AI could have said, this is actually true, or 99% probability it's true, because it came from his Twitter account. So unless his Twitter account has been hacked, which is potentially a low probability given he's coming in as kind of, a sitting president, then this is something to take a look at, right? Whereas 90% of the time you're trying to find out, where is this a scam, is this not? So that's just a very kind of simple example. But another one could be like, let's say you and I are entrepreneurs, we have a little bit of money. We potentially would love to get more liquidity in, but we don't want to give some equity, right? And we actually go to DeFi and find people who are happy to lend us $250,000, and we basically stake the cash flow that our business is getting on chain, so that they use that as collateral. So a great AI agent on the DeFi side could give us a list of great candidates, put them on a scale in risk of, let's say, least risky to most risky, what the loan rates could be, what the process could be, and then even execute that on us, so we can just go back to building our business, which is already hard enough to do, right? Without thinking of all these other aspects that kind of come through. So that's maybe an example of where you could see an AI agent. It could also be like, for instance, now, imagine, we're lucky to be out here in Singapore, Southeast Asia. If we're in California and where the areas have burnt down, you're displaced, kids out of school, you don't know if you start to pay your mortgage, right? A great AI, let's say we could call it catastrophe agents, right? Basically kind of gives you execution steps of what to take and what is the best kind of measures, right? Okay, you can get a holiday in here at this budget. We've already put forward the insurance claims. We think these are the kind of the outcomes. We've already put in like a notice to contractors so we can get ahead of the queue. So all of these kind of sequence of things that would take any very capable, proficient human literally weeks, right? If they're in the right headspace, AI could really help kind of alleviate that stress, that kind of overthinking, and that kind of consistent kind of checking of things.
Okay, well, sounds like an exciting space to be in at the moment. And it does sound like the future of AI and cryptocurrencies holds a lot of promise. So before we wrap up, what do you think the future holds for this intersection between AI and crypto?
So listen, I think at the end of the day, all of these names, AI, crypto, blockchain, they're all just the next evolutions of tech, right? The reason we call our company Final Upgrade AI is because that's what we mean. This is the final upgrade. That's going to basically becoming the singularity, being one with AI, right? This is inevitable. This is entropy. Scary as it is, exciting as it is, it's both of those things, as is kind of life, It's never fully safe and stable, and you definitely need the other to kind of enjoy, stability. So it's inevitable. You have two choices. You can, embrace the one constant that's change. You can get AI ready. You can use it on your own personal work of getting things done with your kids, with your grandkids, with your nieces, with your nephews. You can use it across so many different kind of areas. It's going to happen. It's going to feed into governments. It's going to feed into NGOs. It's going to feed into institutions. And then you'll have the other side of the people who, kind of put it to the side, and they will be catching it on the back foot. And we're not talking about 10 years from now. We're talking about literally 2, 3, 5 years from now. And people are going to be waking up one day to find out actually the job that they thought they had, is very, very different. You're literally going to see companies that are billion-dollar companies with 1 or 2 human founders, and all they have in regards to their team is AI agents, right? But I think net, it's really beneficial to society. I think it, again, will take a lot of the monotonous work that we do into different things and give us back more free time to do bigger, higher level strategic thinking or more kind of creative works. But we need to go back and rethink how society is going to work, because robotics will start to happen. AI will only accelerate that. And we need to kind of go back and rewrite kind of the rules and framework for society and how society functions. So it's going to change literally everything. I'd be hard pressed to tell you what it won't change, right?
Kay, it's been an absolute pleasure having you on the show today. Thank you so much for sharing your deep expertise with us.
Appreciate it, and looking forward to our next jam. Maybe we can do a quarterly AI pit stop if you're game.
Oh, that'll be fun. Kay Van Peterson, the co-founder and partner of Final Upgrade AI, which is an advisory providing services to companies and executives to become AI ready and AI driven. He's also the principal of Ascent Capital and the HODL Group. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Thanks so much.
To listen to more great interviews, download our podcasts at audio.sg or download the audio app. That's AWEDIO, audio at the App Store and Google Play.